Go!
Hi everyone, this is my team, Denisa, Connor, and Dwayne, and we're going to present about the theory of existentialism. You might remember this segment from Rick and Morty that says nobody exists on purpose, nobody belongs anywhere, and we all are going to die, come what may. So, existentialism became popular after the Second World War because of the French scientist Jean started. And existentialism believes that life is a game. You're going to choose the game, and you're going to learn the rules, and you're going to play by the rules. So there are 6 dimensions for existentialism. The first one is the capacity for self-awareness. Everybody is created free, and they have the ability to learn about themselves. The second one is freedom and responsibility. That is, everybody is free, and they are cursed to be free. So, and also they do have the responsibility to take care of themselves. The third one is striving for identity and relationship to others. Everyone is created lonely, so they have to learn how to live with others. The fourth one is the search for meaning. Existentialism believes holds the belief that life is meaningless, so you have to give it a meaning in order to have a meaning for your life. And the fifth one is anxiety as a condition of living. So anxiety is not something special, it's a part of living. So according to this philosophy, anxiety is part of life. Awareness of death and non-being. So this is, everybody's going to die. So we all have to know and accept the fact that we all are going to die. And also this one example from Rick and Morty that he make a robot that only passes the butter. And also, before this one, there was a traditional philosophy that believed in having essence.
So, essentialism is found in all living things, and if we go by Plato's idea, it will be that all living things have properties that are essential for them to function. Some of the old reasons for some of the old essentialism was by Aristotle and George Blakelock, and they thought that all objects are made of a substance, and if you don't have that substance, then that object is no longer the same. And you can find essentialism in everyday life, even to this day. And some that we found in music is when even where people want to believe in something, and if they can't believe in this, then they feel lost because they don't have a purpose. And the way old essentialism was defined was that every entity is born with characteristics prior to their existence, but new existentialism is defined through ethics and morals, so you can find your mission in life and your purpose, and you're the one who's defining if life is meaningful to you or not. So Arthur Schopenhauer, I can't pronounce that, said that life of every individual viewed as a whole and in general, and when only, I can't read that. Basically, he's talking about how life is viewed as a tragedy based on how based on our self-awareness, life is viewed as a tragedy because if we're looking at it through a religious kind of point, tragedy is based on how the deity is treating you, and you see that as them testing you, and you don't agree with the life that they've chosen for you. this kind of concept makes you angry and annoyed. You don't want to believe in this. So you either find yourself in a state of confusion, or you'd find yourself you'd rather believe that life has no meaning and still live in denial rather than accept it and the way I related this was through the Rick and Morty show, where Jerry is completely in denial with how life is. He doesn't get the bigger picture, and he doesn't want to see it that way. He prefers living in his own fake world because that's where he's happiest. While for Rick, he knows how the world works. He does not accept it. I mean, he accepts it, but he's not happy about it. He sees how bad it is and how he sees how bad it is, and he would rather live that way than follow Jerry's examples. And basically what we get out of essentialism is that we decide our own meaning to life. Do we want it, do we want to perceive life as life has meaning, or do we not want to see meaning to life at all and just exist but with no purpose? And the way we think about essentialism is that it has, we're basically defining it within ourselves, unlike nihilism is quite the opposite.
Nihilism has a Latin word to it for nihil, nothing. You'll also find this word in annihilate, to destroy and bring to nothing. Now, German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, he who has a life to live can bear almost anyhow. So if you have a reason, you have some sort of unnatural powers to do something that you couldn't possibly do before for some reason. This has been shown in plenty of media, such as our favorite superheroes, or even the villain, where he even defeats the hero because his reasoning was just that much more stronger than the protagonist. Now, his philosophy covered truth, morality, language, aesthetics, cultural theory, nihilism, power, consciousness, and the meaning of existence. And he believed the most exceptional humans forged their identity through their own self-reflection, not through transcendent things such as gods or a soul. Nothing like that. Now, him and nihilism, what order, what structure? Those are just fabricated things that really don't have meaning in the grand scheme of things. And nihilism itself, corrosive and absolute. Once it gets its hold on someone or something, it really just doesn't let go. It's just there, and it impedes. Now, we have a few different types of nihilism. We have the epistemological line of nihilism, which is to deny truth and knowledge because, is it my truth? His truth? Her truth? Its truth? Why should I care about it? Does it really matter? Ethical nihilism. Is it really good, evil? Aren't those just things that are based on the circumstances of, or the influences of religious and social aspects? Do they really matter? Political nihilism. So, can we really progress with how politics, religion and social aspects currently are, we're not going to get anywhere unless those are gone and done away. And existential nihilism. Life has no true meaning by itself. It just is. And Rick Sanchez. He, quite the character, he just sees it all as more or less pointless and is there for the ride. If he dies, then, well, frankly, there's just an infinite number of him and Mortys that will just keep on existing. In fact, he even just replaced one of him that died and just buried it in the backyard. Like, why not? Just get it out of the way, continue where we left off. But as much as what's on that guy's mind, I don't think it's just the impeding nothingness of it. Maybe there's a sort of absurdity to it that plagues him as well. That's for his adventures.
All right, and that brings us to absurdism, the last of the three that make up existentialism. First, I'm going to start by talking about Albert Camus, who was a French philosopher, and he is known as pretty much the face of absurdism and everything that it makes up. His discovery as he faced absurdism, and actually he started out facing suicide himself, was that absurdism comes with three repercussions, three decisions to face the absurdity of the world. To begin with, you have the option of suicide, which, as I mentioned, was his focal point of most of his studies. He considers that the easy way out, and for those of us who don't want to commit suicide, we have one of two other options. The other option is opposite nihilism, the wholehearted pursuit of a religion, and he believes that's also the easy way out, because making up, a cosmic deity, and that's the reason why the world exists, it's hard to measure and it's hard to prove. And that brings us down to our last option. Rick's route in life is coming to terms with the absurdity of the world and just deciding that, it is what it is. I'm going to push on and make whatever I want out of it. He makes this Thank you. He makes this most notable in his book, The Myth of Sisyphus. But through The Myth of Sisyphus, he writes a book detailing the story of a Greek man named Sisyphus. This man is cursed to spend his life pushing a rock from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the top, only for it to roll back down when it reaches the top. This story, looked from the outside in, seems to just be kind of depressing. I mean, who would want to do the same thing over and over and over again for your entire life? But what he comes to terms with, and kind of the happier note that he ends with in his book, is that to make a purpose for yourself and to find something that you want to do really gives you, it's a blessing. It's better than doing nothing with your life. It's better than killing yourself. It's better than pursuing some random religion and deciding that that's what you're going to put your faith in your life into. But really finding what you think is your purpose and doing that for yourself. That is what makes you a true absurdist, and that is the best route to take. Next slide, please. This brings us to Rick Sanchez. Rick Sanchez is the only true absurdist in the entire show. He proves this because he has noticeably come to terms with life is life. He does whatever the heck he wants. He doesn't care about the lives that he destroys. He doesn't care about even destroying realities. He does whatever he wants, but he still gives himself a purpose. He still protects his family. He still teaches his grandson Morty and takes him on plenty of adventures. And he proves at the end of Me Seeks and Destroy that he's more than willing to murder somebody else, simply under the assumption that he might have caused a little bit of harm to Morty. This brings us the true and real key to being an absurdist, is that you establish a purpose for yourself. You do whatever you want with your life, whatever makes you feel good, so long as you can stay alive. Just remember, don't commit suicide, and don't make up some religion. Find what makes you feel like you, and do it to its fullest. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions?
So he's talking about don't make up your own religion.
but you want to follow religions? Is that was a part of like how to counteract nihilism? Was follow this one?
No, so absurdism and nihilism are kind of hand in hand. Nihilism, I think, it introduced a part of absurdism because absurdism is the three tropes of humanity: is kill yourself, make up a religion, or deal with it and make yourself a purpose. Nihilism is very against religion in the same way, and life has no purpose. The only really major difference between absurdity and nihilism is that absurdity teaches you make your own meaning. Nihilism just says there is no meaning, nothing makes any sense. There's not really much of a good note in this case.
Yep. I think Denisa mentioned this, but this is open to everybody. When she mentioned, don't agree with the life that the deity gives you, what exactly did that entail? So is it more like you getting judged, like for example, when you're in heaven and then God says to you like, oh, okay, do you deserve to be in heaven or hell? Let's see what you did. But they already knew what you did. Is that what that was getting at?
I kind of talked about how in essentialism, if you're basically, some people are like really religious based. They believe that whatever the deity is telling them, that's their purpose. But they don't agree with what they say. What they're just like, oh, they're testing us, and we don't want to follow you anymore. We want to find our own purpose. That was